Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fred, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. Game developers are wasting their time developing titles for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and the PC. They should be focusing all their time and effort in maximizing their support for Nintendo Switch consoles. Every game should be coming out on the most successful gaming platform. This isn't like rocket science. This isn't all that complicated. All we're seeing now is a lot of bluster, a lot of nonsense, a lot of like weird claims from developers who are paid off by Sony in order to support other platforms, but not Nintendo, into not supporting Nintendo Switch. That's what we're seeing here. Let's be real here. This has been happening since the 90s. It's been like a very prevalent problem, but now it's becoming more and more obvious because the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have absolutely nothing to offer to gamers whatsoever. The big new game of this generation, Hogwarts Legacy, is also coming to Switch, right? You have games that are available on every platform. You have games that like really should be available on Switch. There is no justification for Resident Evil 4 Remake or Elden Ring or like Returnal or like any of these other multi-platform games to not be available on Nintendo Switch. And in essence, if a developer really wants to produce high quality, unique, interesting stuff at an affordable price, right? If they want to stay within their budget, if they don't want to blow $100 million on Forspoken, they should be developing for the Nintendo Switch, which is a much more reasonably priced, reasonably powered console. And that is the thing about this console generation. That is the thing about the PC, is that these platforms are indeed overpowered. They are overpriced. No developer can afford to like properly support these consoles with like develop games that can like really max out their capabilities. So instead, they shouldn't even try. If they want to make good, compelling video games, they should be focusing on making good, compelling video games, not on supporting useless pieces of hardware that really have no business existing to begin with, right? PS5 and Xbox Series X should not be supported, okay? They shouldn't even be available for sale, honestly. And the only way that's ever going to happen is if we simply refuse to support them, don't pay their subscription fees, don't buy their games, don't buy their platforms, and instead focus all of our time, our energy, and our passion into playing Nintendo exclusives. I can tell you that I've had more fun playing Nintendo Switch Sports than I would have playing Elden Ring, right? It's more challenging, it's more complex, there's more to do in the game, there's more technical depth, there's more variety in the gameplay. Like, Nintendo Switch Sports just dominates Elden Ring, and I feel like very few people will want to admit that because they want to continue deluding themselves into thinking that like Elden Ring is somehow cutting edge or like the best game on the market when really it's not even close. There are better action RPGs. There are better open world games. There are better games period on Nintendo Switch, and yet we're still in this delusional period where nobody wants to admit it. People really are trying to justify their $4,000 PCs, their overpriced consoles, the fact that we have a new console generation to begin with, when none of that was really necessary. What people should have done is just demand better games on the consoles they already owned. Like, the PS4 was dead in the water, and so they had to pump out the PS5, which is also floundering. Like, just let the brand die and just support Nintendo going forward. Like, it's not all that complicated, but we're seeing like companies just fall over backwards trying to defend Sony. You have like Square Enix releasing statements saying that like Final Fantasy 16 couldn't possibly run on a gaming PC, which is like ridiculous. Oh, we designed this for exclusively for the PS5. Like that's a load of crap, and everybody knows it. Like, you have developers just crying about like blowing $100 million on like Forspoken. You have like the games as a service becoming more being pushed. You have like these people developing NFTs, right? Square Enix like legit fired their CEO and put forward the guy who was pushing for NFTs at the forefront of their company. And yet all anybody wants to talk about is this alleged idea that Pokemon is like going to start contributing to NFTs to begin with. I don't see a lot of people focusing on the Square Enix side of things, but I see people like trying to make stuff up about Pokemon. So, interesting double standard there. Again, All this comes down to is Nintendo bad and everything else good. Like you're not allowed to be a Nintendo fanboy. You're not allowed to talk about like how Nintendo is superior to other consoles. But if you like gaming PC, oh, you're the part of the master race. Oh, if you're a Sony fan, oh, you have the most successful TV show of all time, the best video game adaptation ever in The Last of Us HBO. If you're an Xbox fan, oh, you're gonna own every single game company on the planet, and you have Xbox Game Pass, which is the most successful gaming streaming service in the world, which isn't true, by the way. Nintendo Switch Online is more popular. Why exactly are we here? Like, how exactly did we get to this point? Like, it really does feel like the vast majority of gaming YouTubers, of critics, of journalists, of analysts, like they're just downplaying the very real fact that Switch is the most popular platform by far for actually playing games. They just don't want to admit it. They just do not want to admit that Nintendo has won the console war, and everything we're seeing now from like these clickbaiters, from these shills, from these influencers is just like trying to keep the farce going for just a little bit longer to continue getting those clicks, to continue getting those super chats, to get those donations, those Patreon contributors, to just continue pretending that like someday the Dreamcast 2 is going to come back and just destroy everything. Like that maybe we'll get a good game on Xbox, maybe if we keep supporting them. Like why does anyone care? Why does anyone support any of these platforms? PlayStation and Xbox will never be relevant. They never were relevant. They could never compete with Nintendo consoles, and I'm kind of sick of pretending they ever could. And PC gaming is so delusional. Like you guys think that like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, like these are all like viable PC exclusives, which isn't even true, but like the fact that you use your PC to like, look at naked women on the internet or like, you consider we're talking about PC gamers, people like, oh no, it's Alex, like probably male women, I suppose, femboys, whatever they call them. What do they call them? Traps? Like, I don't exactly know, but like, considering that you can only find that on PC reliably, that's your favorite exclusive. That's what you're into. That's what gets you excited. That's what gets you passionate. Me, the actual gamer, I'm playing Nintendo Switch Sports. I'm playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I'm playing Metroid Fusion, Mario and Luigi, Wario Land 3, I am looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm playing Cereza. I'm playing Fatal Frame 4. Like, I'm playing all these great Nintendo games that just most people are desperately trying to downplay. Enough is enough, right? If you're not playing exclusively on Nintendo hardware, you are not a fan of video games. If you're talking about Last of Us HBO, you're not a gamer. If you talk about like Xbox Game Pass, a bunch of these old games that you can easily acquire and other used through a variety of different means, you're not a gamer. If you care about like Xbox or PlayStation at all, you're not a gamer. Like if you downplay some of the very best games in the entire industry, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Metroid, like you are not a gamer. That is what we're seeing here. Is that a bunch of people who are trying to push agendas to try to like, establish some kind of niche community in their online about like hating Nintendo. We can't allow this to continue. You are not gamers.